Hello everyone, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense and welcome to Studio Sense headquarters. In the background today you're going to be seeing some commercial spots in reference to the designer fragrances that I'll be talking about. A designer fragrance mini haul. What is a mini haul, you might ask? Anything 6 or under. Today I'm going to be focusing on 6 designer fragrances in my mini haul, so let's get right to it. Six designer fragrances with this mini haul we're going to be talking about. Boss Bottled Intense. Looking forward to checking that one out. Next up, we have, you're going to notice Boss a lot in this because I really like Hugo Boss as a house. A lot of people give it some hate. One thing you got to love about Hugo Boss as a house, they'll go right back to the drawing board and reformulate and try to come up with something new and fresh, even if it's just a flanker. So they've had a lot of hits and misses, but more hits than misses. You know, in the world of human development, it's not that you fail, it's how many times you get up that determines your worth as a person. Hugo Boss to me is a really consistently good fragrance house. This particular one is Boss Bottle United in a 100ml bottle. And my last Hugo Boss is 100ml bottle of Boss Bottled Night. Respect to Hugo Boss. Next up, we've got Bentley For Men Intense. Gonna check that one out in a 100ml bottle, and this is the EDP. After that, we've got Bentley For Men Absolute, also the EDP concentration in a 100ml bottle. And finally, Dolce Gabbana The One. This is EDT Eau de Toilette in a 100ml bottle. So that's it. The 6 fragrances we're going to check out today on this designer fragrance mini haul. So thanks for coming along with me on this beautiful day. It is supposed to be wintertime here in East Tennessee, but oddly enough, it's like 70 degrees outside and the sun is out. It is super strange. So my wife and I recently organized all our clothes as we do once a year. We got all our winter clothes out, we put all our summer clothes away, and here we are back in t-shirts again because it's super hot out. We actually have the air on, like the cool air. So super strange. While I'm focusing on primarily winter fragrances, you'll notice I've got a little bit of mix here, summer and winter, or fall and autumn, cooler weather fragrances, warmer weather fragrances, Boss Bottled Night. So we'll talk about what kind of weather these fragrances are appropriate for, as well as kind of some of the notes in them and where you might wear them and why you might like them, why you might not. So I'm going to check out Boss Bottled United first. Now, I'm going to make a mess before the day is over. So people in the fragrance community have always been aware that fragrances are complicated, or they can be very linear, very simple and uncomplicated. But what makes them that way is the notes and how they're blended. The notes are typically listed on Hugo Boss's fragrance boxes. In this particular case, the Bottle United has top notes of ozone, says ozone accord, wild buchu plant, and a heart note of spearmint, peppermint. So we've got some minty freshness in this, no doubt, with a base note of woods. So woody notes in this, several mix of woody notes, including cedar, of course. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to check that out. The one thing that I really like right out of the box is wow, that's going to be really nice. It's super shiny, super chrome. I don't know if you like chrome. It makes me think of like melting or liquid metal. It's got a mirror-like surface. It's really, really nice. So Boss Bottle United sets itself apart in its presentation, keeping, of course, the same bottle shape and the same lid, kind of the same functionality as Boss always does. So it's very recognizable, very simple. But let's see if the fragrance is the same way or if it strays, going a little bit darker or complex. Of course, with heart accords such as peppermint and spearmint, the expectation is that this is going to be really fresh and spritz, very, very fresh and minty. And it really is. What I like about this is there's 2 schools of thought when it comes to Boss Bottled United. It is a winter fragrance, right? Because it has that mint, okay? Mint harkens to colder weather, really kind of finds its sea legs, as it were, in colder weather. But it also is a very light, a very fresh, and as such, a summer or warm weather fragrance. An activity where you sweat and move around and it actually really does excellent. It reinvigorates itself with sweat. So this particular fragrance I recommend for summer or winter. And the thing about winter weather fragrances. During winter, we tend to, as a people, huddle up together, right? We have activities where we're found, in closer proximity to each other. Not only that, but we do something else with our clothing. We layer our clothing, right? We wear heavier clothing. We wear sweaters, wear t-shirts under clothes. We wear long sleeves. We wear sweaters on top of our shirts. We wear jackets. So a fragrance that we want others to be able to appreciate is normally when we're in close proximity and we're taking off, we're undoing or unveiling some of those layers of clothing. This is where this fragrance shines, no pun intended. So Boss Bottle United. Recommend for summer or winter. Has that really nice, zesty freshness. Kind of reminds me of that Peppermint Patty commercial where the guy jumps up on the desk and he's like slaloming down the mountain because it reminds him of that wind's blowing in his hair. Similar feel and energy and vibe to Boss Bottle United. All right, next up, Boss Bottle Night. Boss Bottle Night has top notes of birch leaf, heart notes of cardamom, base notes of amarillo wood, and musky notes. So got a nice mixture of blend of notes there. Now the Boss Bottle Night has a lot of people, it's kind of polarized a lot of people. So what I think of Boss Bottle Night, I think of that friend that everybody is attracted to or really likes, but everybody, for whatever reason, is determined to make everyone think of them as being basic. But you know what? Sometimes basic or simple or uncomplicated is good. Sometimes you want that in your fragrance. Complexity is a great thing, but when you're not in the mood for complexity, when you're in the mood for something light, uncomplicated, linear, Boss Bottle Night is going to come to your rescue. That's when I suggest using something like this. It's a great reference to when you'd like to wear this. It is a simple but a breath of fresh air in terms of uncomplicated yet sophisticated. I sometimes refer to it as like the tofu fragrance because it takes on the flavor of whatever activity that you're doing in a very simplified way. Nothing super complicated about Boss Bottle Night. We're going to give it a whiff though, just for the purpose of this designer fragrance mini haul. As you can see, the presentation is pretty awesome, but I don't know if you can actually see the bottle is a really dark azure. It's really a dark blue. It's really cool. Of course, the reference to night. Okay. There's something pleasantly relaxing about this fragrance too. Like, it's been around for a while, and a lot of people in forums have commented that this is one of the first date fragrances that they use, and they have kind of a nice memory associated with that in terms of high school, dating that first crush. Seems like it might be basic, but it fits the bill with a seductive, alluring, floral vibe to it as well. It makes no whispered promises, but it does what it does really well, and it does it very simply, very linear. If what you're looking for is a nice linear date night fragrance, Boss Bottle Night will fit the bill for you. Our last Boss fragrance that we're going to focus on this designer mini haul is Boss Bottled Intense. It's funny, yesterday I just happened across a YouTube video of Jeremy Fragrance, who was doing a fragrance battle, and it was between Boss Bottled Intense and the Boss The Scent. And in almost every case, Boss Bottled Intense won out. He was asking a lot of women, attractive women, what they thought of it in terms of smelling it on their guy, on their man, and most people liked Boss Bottled Intense. This is the EDP, the Eau de Parfum concentration. On the back of the bottle, it is kind of hard to read. You have to kind of look at it in the right light because of the sheen of the box itself. But it focuses on top notes of orange blossom and apple. So I love apple. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I love apple note if it is done right. Heart notes of cinnamon, and base notes of sensual woody notes. This is going to be a little bit more complex, complicated. Great projection, great longevity out of this. Better than average, actually, out of the EDP. And it's something you can expect out of an EDP concentration. So I've used this before. I really like this fragrance. It is a great winter fragrance. It's distinguished, it's masculine, it's rich and intoxicating. You got this, of course, is the 50 ml. I don't know why I got the 50 ml. I think that might have been a mistake. I wanted to get the 100 ml bottle, but for some reason I got the 50. That's okay. This will last me for a little while. Yes. This used to be my signature scent. It is so easy for this to become a signature scent. It's got clove. You can smell the cinnamon. You can smell the clove. A lot of people say it reminds them of an apple pie. It is a very rich, gourmand fragrance, Boss Bottled Intense. What I like about this is there's a really soft leather note. It's kind of a phantom note because this doesn't have leather in it, but it comes in and out of recognition amidst the composure of this fragrance. And I love phantom notes. What phantom notes are is it's a combination of multiple notes that come together and merge and create the synthesis or the imagining of additional notes that aren't actually in the blend. And well-blended fragrances will actually do that, will create phantom notes. And that's what this does to such great effect. So I love Boss Bottled Intense. Can't recommend it enough. Do, however, get the bigger bottle because you'll want 100 ml. But if you like to carry this around, this is great for carrying around like a backpack, or if you're traveling in luggage, the 50 ml bottle is very convenient, as it were, but you'll want to use a lot more of this juice. It is a great fragrance in most weather. It's very versatile. It is best utilized, I do believe, in fall going into winter, as cold weather kind of opens the fragrance up, opens the notes up, and you get a little bit more of that complexity opening up to you. And that's what creates that phantom leather note and some other phantom notes that you might catch in that as well. It is a really nice complex fragrance to have in your rotation. Some people have compared Boss Bottled Intense to Paco Rabanne 1 Million or Yves Saint Laurent La Nuit de l'Homme. It does smell very similar, similar DNA, similar vibes. I love them as well. In fact, I probably couldn't pick a favorite. They're all probably on the same, be like a lateral move to me. But it's to give you kind of an idea, if you've never smelled this fragrance before, it's similar vibe to those DNAs. Next, in our designer fragrance mini haul, I'm gonna look at Bentley For Men Intense. Now, I have not actually smelled this before, so this will be new to my palate. Kind of looking forward to it. I have an idea that the Bentley For Men Absolute will be my favorite of the two, but I might surprise myself. You never know. So come along with me on the ride and we'll check them out together. Now, unlike Boss, these do not have the notes on the outside, the packaging. You've just got some ingredients listing on the back. You've got your barcode and additional information on the bottom. You've got the easily recognizable Bentley logo with the wings on the front, embossed on the front. Bentley For Men Intense. Bottle inside is very heavy, very well made. I can tell right away. So while presentation is important, it is not the paramount thing that we're looking for in fragrance, right? We're looking for something that smells really good, be something that we can use in our weekly or daily rotation. It is very well made. As you can see, you've got a nice juxtaposition between the bright chrome and the glass and the light colored juice inside. So let's get straight to the juice and see what it's like. The lid is on really well, very well made. It's another one of those fragrances that you're safe holding the bottle up by the lid. It's that well made. Normally, I'm not opposed to using fragrance strips only when there's like a haul, right? Because you have multiple fragrances that you're going to be using, and there's not enough skin for all the fragrances that I have. I'm looking forward to trying that out. I'm seeing there's a drastic difference in the way that it smells. Okay, the expectation of this is that it's going to be slightly boozy, very sophisticated, rich. It's almost like the thrall of winning, the feel of success, and kind of like, I love the fact that you can close your eyes and visualize European lines, you know, classic luxury. It's almost like getting inside of a Bentley and driving, and other people seeing you driving this car. This is how you would feel, smell. It's almost an exact representation of how you would feel. I really, really like it. No, that's super dope. I like that fragrance very, very much. So let's go over some of the notes. So some of the notes in Bentley Intense For Men, you've got bergamot, of course, in the opening. That's what gives it its bright birth. You've got black pepper, bay leaf. I think in the mid there's some Carly sage. Geranium gives a little bit of floral. You've got cinnamon. You've got rum, of course. That's where the boozy comes from. And of course, within the forest of For Men Intense is cedar. But then you also have leather, right? So you've got leather that gives it that sophisticated luxury winning type feel, and then you've got your earthy for patchouli, and then your cedar for wood. So that brings it all together. This is this would be definitely a signature fragrance. I'm definitely going to add it to my weekly rotation. Bentley For Men Intense. So awesome fragrance. When should you wear this? Well, as with any fragrances that are a little bit deeper, darker, luxurious, and boozy, wintertime is a great is a perfect time to wear a fragrance like this. Now you could wear it in summertime. I don't recommend sweating in a fragrance like this. It doesn't mix very well with sweat, kind of changes the chemical composition instead of reinvigorating it. It often will kill some of the things that you like about it in the notes of this. So winter fragrance is the way that I would categorize this. So maybe fall or autumn going into winter, colder weather. Bentley For Men Intense. Next, we're going to check out its newer brother, and that is Bentley For Men Absolute. Like Intense, Bentley For Men Absolute is just a box with an ingredients listing, nothing doing on it. The super awesome, a little bit darker box. It's got a little bit of a tactile feel around the top of it. We're going to bust into that and get to the actual juice. I can imagine that the bottle is going to be darker than For Men Intense from Bentley, just because the packaging is darker, and that term absolute. I could be wrong, and I'm not wrong. This is another fragrance that I have not tried. So Bentley, for me, the reason I wanted to try Bentley is I was very, very pleasantly surprised with Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz makes quality fragrances in their fragrance line, and they are also an automobile manufacturer. Bentley being, of course, a manufacturer of beautiful classic vehicles. Thought I might give them a try, and I'm not disappointed at all, pleasantly surprised. So a lot of good things people have said about For Men Absolute being out of the two, that this is going to be the better one. So kind of thinking that's probably the case. But after smelling For Men Intense, I don't know. This would have to go a long way to make me think that it's better. So let's give it a shot. I do like the bottle design. It is a very dark black, almost opaque looking at it. And then of course the lettering is in gold. So black and gold is classic, just like the vehicles themselves. I like the atomizer is kind of small. I like that. It's a little different. Does spray some good bit of juice there though. Oh wow. It makes me think of, I don't know how to describe this, and I'm probably going to sound like an idiot, but I'm okay with that. But the first thing that I thought of when I smelled this was onyx, like black onyx. I don't know, probably because this reminds me of onyx, but there's something like seductively insinuating about the smell of Absolute. It has got it's a very cool, this is definitely, okay, so this is definitely a winter fragrance, I can tell. It is not a heat fragrance, but I could smell this in heat. So I could actually smell this as being a kind of a versatile summertime, wintertime fragrance, quite honestly. And what I think that's going to be the case, because I smell, there's something about this that makes me think of granite. It's almost like a slightly aldehydic, kind of a talcumy powder fresh, but it doesn't have that bite to it. It's a little bit softer to the palate. So some of the notes in Bentley For Men Absolute might surprise you in terms of their blend. I'm not a big fan of ginger in terms of consumption, but ginger as a fragrance, I really do like. So this has ginger in it. It's also got papyrus, it's got pink pepper, it's got Atlas cedar. But the thing about this that I like the most is the agar wood, which is oud. So this is an oud-based fragrance, and that's what I really, really like about it. Oud, when done right, brings like, it's almost like gravity. It brings a fragrance, a very well-grounded sensation, vibe, and feeling, and that's what I get out of this. So not only does it retain the same feeling of that thrall of winning, the thrill of luxury and sophistication, but you also have that grounded gravity of oud in this. So it's an incredible smell, incredible fragrance. So I'm just kind of giving you just a little bit of a taste. That's what this mini haul is all about, is just to give you a bite of each one of these, kind of a snapshot of what they might be like, to see if it's right for you. The Atlas cedar, the amber, the oud, and moss are what is in the base of this, and that's what makes it feel like you're kind of walking into a very large, open, dark, old building. So it's something that's huge, its presence is phenomenal, it's awe-inspiring, but it also makes you feel like you're at a moment in history where something is going to happen, and it's going to be something very good, very positive, and very beneficial. And that's the feeling and vibe that I get from Bentley For Men Absolute. So there's a place for all of these in my fragrance rotation. Next, let's check out an oldie but a goodie. I think it's been around for about 10 years. 2008 I think is the year that it first came out. They first launched, Dolce & Gabbana first launched the one for women. It became so well known and so well loved that they launched it for men back in 2008. So let's check out the one. Now, this is a well-known fragrance to me. I really like it. I'm going to tell you today why I like it and why you may not like it. Okay, as with anything, people are not black and white. They're not simple or complex. They're all of those things, and they're all of them all at once. Sometimes fragrances can be like that too. Nothing super fancy about the packaging. You open it up on the very lip of the box. It says Dolce & Gabbana, just so you don't confuse yourself. What is this I'm opening? Oh, it's Dolce & Gabbana. Extremely heavy. Like, this is out of all of these boxes, this is the heaviest one because that's a lot of glass, right? Look how thick that bottom is. But it's a classic bottle, classic rectangle. Lid is very nice. Yes, you can hold the bottle up by the lid, twist and pull. Comes right off. Now, you can tell a lot by a fragrance, or at least by the purported target audience that they're trying to buy in with a fragrance, by the title. This is called The One, meaning it'll be the only one that you ever use, right? The one is, we're always looking for that significant other that is going to be the one. Shopping for a house, you're looking for the one. A blatant statement saying this is the one, this is the fragrance, the only one you'll ever need. Is that the case? Absolutely not. It is one of many that you can like, and there's a lot to like about the one. So let's check it out. That atomizer is throwing more juice on the floor, I think, than on the fragrance strip. To me, there's something called an after smell when it comes to fragrances, and not all fragrances have them. It's like when you first smell something, and just seconds later, you smell something else about it, almost like an aftertaste. This is an after smell. So what I like about the one is its after smell. So you smell it, you get a sense of that initial flavor, and then just seconds later, and even 1 second, a nanosecond later, you get something else about it that's warm. It starts warming, and it's a different flavor of the fragrance. So it's the notes opening up almost immediately, even on the fragrance strip. And it does exactly the same on skin as it does on a fragrance strip. It is very, very consistent that way. It does become a skin scent relatively quickly, but that's not a bad thing in this case, in my opinion. I would say this is the king of the skin scents, and what I mean by that is in terms of favorable, like something that you want on you, something that sometimes you want people to come closer to get more rather than just giving all, right? Isn't that what seduction is about? Showing less means showing more. Dolce & Gabbana, the one, gets that right for sure. Some of the notes that you can appreciate in the one are coriander, basil, cardamom. It also has ginger in the mid, I believe, and orange blossom, sitting on a base of cedar, amber, and tobacco. I love tobacco, I love leather. You combine them in a fragrance like this, it makes it a lot softer, a lot more complicated, a lot more alluring and seductive. So those are all attributes of Dolce & Gabbana, the one. Don't let people tell you wrong or lead you wrong. It is not linear. It is not terrible. It is a great fragrance that will not disappoint you, and this will definitely make its way into your fragrance rotation. Well, that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming along on the ride with this designer fragrance mini haul. I really appreciate your coming and visiting me on my channel today. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, and comment. I always appreciate your constructive comments, whether it's criticism or just something that's on your mind. Please feel free to express it here. This is a happy and safe place where everyone is welcome. Thank you so much for your support and for being here. It means the world to me. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.